Excuse
Ma'am,
me?
stop. I need to speak with you.
Excuse me, I am leaving my home.
We got a call for suspicious activity. You match the description.
Suspicious? I am a resident and this is my property.
Ma'am, I need to see your ID and proof of residence right now.
I am a lawyer. I commit no crime by walking on my own driveway. You will get...
Officer Michael Crawford had been with the Seattle Police Department for 12 years. In those 12 years, he'd compiled 21 formal complaints. 18 of them involved black people in affluent neighborhoods he'd accused of trespassing, loitering, or not belonging. A black man watering his lawn was questioned about whether he really lived there. A black woman sitting on her own porch was told she looked suspicious. A black teenager walking home from school was detained for casing houses. Every complaint ended the same way. Diversity training Crawford attended but never internalized. Written warnings that meant nothing, no real consequences. One Sunday afternoon in Seattle, his 12-year pattern of assuming black people didn't belong in wealthy neighborhoods finally confronted someone whose entire career was built on knowing the law and defending civil rights. That confrontation would end Crawford's career, cost the city $2.5 million, and expose a department that had ignored 21 complaints over 12 years. Attorney Nicole Barnes, a 39-year-old civil rights lawyer, was standing in her own driveway in the Queen Anne neighborhood, unloading groceries from her Mercedes after a Costco run. Her house deed was inside, her driver's license in her purse, her mail with her name and address scattered throughout her car. No crime, no trespassing, no violation, just a lawyer unloading groceries at her own home. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Hit that subscribe button. These stories need to be heard. Seattle, Washington, Queen Anne, one of the city's most expensive neighborhoods with panoramic views of downtown, the Space Needle, and Puget Sound. It was 3:30 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, temperature 65°, partly cloudy. Nicole Barnes had been a civil rights attorney for 13 years with Morrison & Chang, one of Seattle's most prestigious law firms. She'd graduated from Stanford University, then Columbia Law School, where she'd been editor of the Law Review. She'd won major settlements for clients facing housing discrimination, employment discrimination, and police misconduct. She'd argued before the Washington Supreme Court. She knew constitutional law, property law, and civil rights law better than most officers knew their own use of force policies. That afternoon, Nicole had done her weekly Costco run, bulk groceries, household supplies, enough to last 2 weeks. She'd spent $340, loaded everything into her Mercedes, and driven home to her Queen Anne house she'd purchased 3 years earlier for $1.2 million. She'd pulled into her driveway, popped the trunk, and was carrying bags to her front door when she heard a car pull up and an aggressive voice. Do you think officers should verify property ownership before accusing people of trespassing? Drop your answer below. Officer Crawford had those 21 complaints over 12 years. 18 involved black people in wealthy neighborhoods. That afternoon, Crawford was patrolling Queen Anne when he received a call about suspicious activity. Someone unloading items from a car at a house, behavior that didn't look right. Crawford responded within minutes and saw exactly what the caller described. A black woman unloading bags from a Mercedes in front of a $1 million house. "Ma'am, you need to leave this property immediately." Nicole turned, startled, grocery bags in both hands. "Excuse me? This is my house. I live here." "I received a call about someone trespassing. You don't belong here." Nicole's legal training kicked in immediately. "I don't belong at my own house? I've lived here for 3 years. I'm the homeowner. I'm unloading groceries." "Show me proof of ownership right now." Nicole set down her bags carefully. "Officer, I'm an attorney. I specialize in civil rights law. You're on my property demanding I prove I own my own home. That's not how this works. You need probable cause to detain me, and unloading groceries at my own house isn't a crime." Crawford stepped closer. "I don't care what you say you are. The caller said you looked suspicious. Show me ID and proof you own this house, or you're being detained." "Detained for what? Standing in my own driveway?" "For trespassing." "I can't trespass on property I own. This is my house. I bought it 3 years ago. My name is on the deed, the mortgage, the property tax records, and every piece of mail inside that house." A neighbor walked over from across the street. "Officer, that's Nicole. She lives here. She's lived here for 3 years. She's our neighbor." Crawford ignored him. "Ma'am, final warning. Show me proof of ownership or you're under arrest." Nicole pulled out her phone. "I'm recording this. Officer Crawford, You are threatening to arrest me for standing in the driveway of the house I own. I'm Nicole Barnes, civil rights attorney with Morrison and Chang. I've successfully sued police departments for exactly this type of violation. You're currently committing one. Put the phone away and show me your ID. I'm not required to show ID when I'm standing on my own property. You're under arrest for trespassing and obstruction. Trespassing on my own property? Officer, you are making a catastrophic legal mistake. Crawford grabbed Nicole's wrist and pulled her arm behind her back. She didn't resist but spoke clearly for her recording. I am not resisting. I am complying under protest. Officer Crawford, badge number 1634, is arresting me in the driveway of my own home for unloading groceries. This is an unlawful arrest. Should officers face automatic termination for arresting homeowners on their own property? Let me know what you think. The neighbor was recording now too. This is insane. She owns this house. I've been to her housewarming party. Crawford handcuffed Nicole and walked her toward his patrol car while she continued speaking calmly. I am Nicole Barnes, attorney at law. I own the house at 847 Highland Drive. I have owned it for 3 years. I am being unlawfully arrested by Officer Crawford for standing in my own driveway. He placed her in the back of his patrol car. Through the window, she could see her groceries scattered on the driveway, her front door standing open, her neighbor on the phone likely calling her law firm. The drive to the station took 18 minutes. They arrived at Seattle PD's Queen Anne precinct. Crawford walked her inside, still handcuffed, past a desk sergeant who looked up with immediate concern. Crawford, what's the situation? Trespassing suspect from Queen Anne refused to prove she lived at the residence. The sergeant frowned. What address? 847 Highland Drive. Nicole spoke up, her attorney voice cutting through the room. Sergeant, I'm Nicole Barnes, partner at Morrison and Chang. I specialize in civil rights law. I own 847 Highland Drive. I purchased it 3 years ago for $1.2 million. I was unloading groceries in my own driveway when Officer Crawford arrested me for trespassing on my own property. This arrest is unlawful, and your department is facing significant civil liability. The sergeant's expression shifted immediately. Ma'am, you're a property owner? For 3 years. Partner at Morrison and Chang, Columbia Law School graduate. I've litigated dozens of civil rights cases against police departments. Now I'm the plaintiff in one. The sergeant looked at Crawford. Did you verify property ownership? She refused to show proof. That's not a crime. Did you check county records? Contact the mortgage company? The caller said she looked suspicious. The sergeant pulled up King County property records online. Within seconds, he found the deed. Nicole Marie Barnes, owner since August 15, 2021, purchase price $1.2 million. He turned to Crawford with barely controlled fury. She owns the house. County records confirm it. You arrested a homeowner for standing in her own driveway. A lieutenant arrived, Sarah Kim, a 23-year veteran who'd been tracking Crawford's complaint history and recommending his termination for years. She listened to the sergeant's briefing, reviewed the property records, spoke with the neighbor who'd called Nicole's firm. She approached Nicole, who was still handcuffed. Ms. Barnes, I'm Lieutenant Kim. This arrest was completely unlawful. You're being released immediately with our sincerest apologies. She turned to Crawford with finality. Badge and weapon. You're done. Crawford's face went pale. Lieutenant, I was responding to a trespassing call. You arrested a homeowner in her own driveway without verifying any facts. You've generated 21 complaints in 12 years, 18 involving black people in affluent neighborhoods. Your career is over. Badge, weapon, now. By that evening, the legal community was in an uproar. Morrison and Chang issued a scathing statement. Civil rights organizations rallied. Video from witnesses went viral. A black attorney handcuffed in her own driveway while groceries sat scattered on the ground. Nicole filed a lawsuit 7 weeks later, naming Officer Michael Crawford, his supervisors who'd ignored 21 complaints, and Seattle PD. The allegations were devastating. False arrest without probable cause, false imprisonment, violation of Fourth Amendment rights, racial profiling and discrimination, violation of property rights, intentional infliction of emotional distress, deliberate indifference to Crawford's pattern of behavior. The complaint included Crawford's complete record, 21 complaints over 12 years, 18 involving black people in wealthy neighborhoods. Seattle city attorneys found no defense. Property records proved ownership. Witnesses supported her account. Video evidence existed. The city settled 15 months later. $2.5 million paid to Nicole Barnes. Officer Michael Crawford was terminated 8 weeks after the incident. The termination letter was comprehensive. Officer Crawford arrested a property owner for standing in her own driveway. He had no probable cause. His pattern of similar conduct over 12 years demonstrates an inability to serve without racial bias. Employment terminated immediately. Crawford's name entered the National Decertification Index. His 12-year career ended. Nicole testified before Seattle City Council. "I'm a civil rights attorney. I've represented clients who were racially profiled, falsely arrested, and had their rights violated. I never imagined I'd be a plaintiff in one of these cases. But Officer Crawford arrested me for standing in the driveway of the house I own, for the crime of being black in a wealthy neighborhood." She paused. 21 complaints in 12 years. 18 involving black people in affluent areas. That's systematic racial profiling. Your department ignored it until Officer Crawford arrested someone who happened to be a Columbia Law graduate with the knowledge and resources to fight back. $2.5 million is what it costs when you ignore patterns. But money doesn't undo being handcuffed in your own driveway while your groceries melt in the sun. Seattle PD implemented reforms: mandatory property verification before trespassing arrests, automatic investigation at 3 similar complaints, body camera review for all property-related encounters, command accountability for pattern recognition. Why do departments wait for 21 complaints instead of acting on 3? Comment your thoughts. This wasn't about one Sunday afternoon. This was about tolerating Michael Crawford for 12 years despite 21 complaints showing identical bias. Nicole Barnes paid the price, arrested at her own home for being black in Queen Anne. Crawford's career is over. The city paid $2.5 million. But that came after 12 years of ignored warnings. Comment if this should be mandatory. 3 similar complaints within 3 years triggers automatic termination. And if you believe these stories matter, hit that subscribe button. We're exposing departments that ignore patterns. This isn't about one officer or one attorney. It's about systems that let bias continue and people who pay the price for that willful blindness.